Hello and welcome to Money Matters. My name is Busi Mbokazi. Today we'll be discussing the rewards of financial faithfulness. And to help us with this discussion, we have Mr. Sam Alexander, the former CEO of the Pacific Institute. Welcome back, Mr. Alexander.
Delighted to be here. Thank you very much.
So, Mr. Alexander, last time we had a totally different discussion. It was about honesty, integrity, and work. So today we'll be discussing the rewards of financial faithfulness. And what does this exactly mean for us? So I think maybe let's just start with the idea of what is success in life?
That's a very interesting question, Busi. Success is really achieving something way beyond, in my view, the things that you set out to do. Success is moving one step beyond where you are, achieving a goal that you've not had before. And many times you have achieved that same thing, but just you are achieving more, you're sustaining what you have, and you are growing what you want. It's many times people measure success by what they gather around them. They measure success by finances. They measure success by the status and the rank that they have in life. But they don't realize that success is much, much deeper than that.
Would you then say that because we have tried to practice some of these financial principles that we are learning about, that would that make us successful? Would that be a marker of success, or would that just be a mark of our faithfulness to God?
Let me give you a story.
Okay.
I hope this illustrates it pretty well. And then later on I want to make a statement after that. I had the privilege of being at university doing my executive development program. And I did the section with the lecturer doing economics.
Okay.
And we were sitting and we were crafting a future of success for the country, a future of success for ourselves individually, and a future for the status and the reputation of the university where we were studying. So while we were busy with the economics lecture, in steps the rector.
Okay.
And goes straight up to the lecturer and says to the professor, I just need to speak to the class for a moment. Spoke to us, 80 of us sitting in the room, ready to go into general management, ready to be successful people. And he said, I would like you to please understand that this class has to adjourn momentarily. And we will reconvene the class.
Okay.
You know, that happened to be the 2nd of February, 1990.
Okay.
When a new political dispensation came into our country. It's quite fortuitous that we are around that period now. And so 80 of us were ready to embrace success and to make a difference in the world and in our businesses, standing outside. Almost everyone standing by him or herself, not saying anything to anybody. The world has now changed on the 2nd of February 1990. And Busi, I remembered being outside in the crowd that I'd forgotten something in the lecture hall. I went back to the lecture hall and I saw something written on the flip chart. And these were the words: the future is now unknowable.
Oh.
I looked at it and I said, you can't leave it like that. I took a different colored pen, underlined that statement, and I wrote another statement beneath that.
Okay.
When we'd reconvened, the economics professor said, who wrote that? Well, the author of the top section is not known until today.
Okay.
I raised my hand and I said, Prof, I wrote the bottom section. He says, that's what got to me. Because the top section said, the future is now unknowable. The bottom said, it is, but it is not unthinkable.
Exactly.
So success is it's thinking ahead. It's taking what is unknown and makes it thinkable.
Yes.
And makes it doable and achievable.
To achieve success, it is perceived and understood that one would have to make certain sacrifices. Is it worth it? Is the price worth it?
You know what? Life, and now you're getting another paradigm from me. Life is no sacrifice. Life is I choose to.
Okay.
I want to.
Yes.
I do it because it's my idea.
Yes.
So when you want to succeed in life, and you have to go through a couple of years, or you have to spend a few hours doing a thing, you must understand it's a choice. Life is going to ask a few questions.
Yes.
And one of the questions would be, why are you doing it?
Yes.
A very good retorting question is, why not?
Okay.
Why not? You've got to embark on a position where what you do must be enjoyed, and that's what the experts say.
Yes.
When you begin to enjoy what you're doing, you haven't spent a day at work.
What then is financial faithfulness?
Financial faithfulness for me is not the growth of the money in your account. It's not the growth of your package. It is what you do that precedes the package.
Okay.
So you want to be faithful in finances. Finances is really a gift from God.
Yes.
Right? It is an opportunity to achieve certain things. And when you have financial success and faithfulness, that is a goal. Okay? It always is a goal. And when you realize that there is something that I want to do that I don't have, it is important for me to set a goal. Now, I fall on my knees.
Yes.
And I say to God, God, make me faithful as a child of yours. But God will say to you, well, I can't wave a magic wand over you and declare you faithful.
Yes.
You got to go back to the word. You got to go back to regular prayer. You got to go back to regular worship experiences and fellowship. It is something that just gets into you, and you will find that those things that you do result in faithfulness in almost everything. So remember, I cannot be faithful financially if I'm not faithful maritally.
Okay.
I cannot be faithful maritally if I'm not faithful physically. So my exercise program, faithful is a surround of life.
Okay.
So you can't compartmentalize faithful. And that's a mistake many people make. They're successful in certain ways, and they find that, well, I come short in a particular area. Now, of course, you have achieved success in what you're doing, but it is important for you to recognize that success is a journey. It's a journey, it's not a destination.
So what are the goals then in life financially? So that if we say that we are faithful financially, and we want to attain success, and success has got this measure that you've already described to us, and what can we then put down as our goals? As you've said, we need to have goals. What do we then put down as those goals?
Yeah, so another story.
Yes.
Another story. One of my clients came to me and said that they would like to increase their revenue base by 18 billion.
Okay.
18 billion.
Okay.
The revenue base was 22 billion, and I want to increase it to 40 billion, 18 billion. So I said to them, that's a bad goal. And he said to me, how can you say that? I mean, I, as a CEO of this company, I've reflected on this. I really want to succeed with this thing, and I've set that goal now. And I say, the way you set your goal is very important. Why? Because money is a poor leader, but a powerful follower. Okay.
Money is a poor leader,
but a powerful follower.
Okay.
Give money a home. You know what the home of money is called? Significance.
Oh.
You know what the home of money is called? Dedication.
Yes.
Money likes a home like that. So if you want to attain financial excellence, give that goal significance, dedication, commitment, consistency,
Yes.
passion. That's where money wants to go. Let me. You've been a young girl. I've been a young boy, and you see a butterfly, and you chase the butterfly, and you want to catch the butterfly, but it flits here and it flits there, and you miss the butterfly. You know, the amazing thing is, you give up, and then you see the butterfly is sitting there on a flower. But that flower didn't chase the butterfly. The flower just sat there and just waited. You know what the flower did?
Yes.
It just made up its mind to be a good flower. It made up its mind to have what the butterfly wants. Okay? So money is like a butterfly. Money is waiting for good flowers.
Yes.
It's waiting for good performance, for good commitment, for consistency. All the values that we'd spoken about at some stage.
Yes.
That's what that augurs highly and well for successful and financial fitness and financial achievement. Let me give you a statement.
Yes.
This is a statement written by a missiologist called Henry David Thoreau.
Okay.
This is the statement. When someone advances deliberately in the direction of his or her dominant dream, and daily lives the life that he or she imagines,
Yes.
that person will meet with a success unexpected in the common hours of life.
One more time. I ask you to emphasize this so that we're sure what you were saying and we understand exactly what it is that you're saying.
This is the statement. When someone advances deliberately
Yes.
in the direction of his or her dominant dream,
Yes.
and daily lives the life that he or she imagines, that person will meet with a success in the common hours of life.
On that note, I think it's time for us to take a break. We'll be back right after this. Hello and welcome back to Money Matters. We're still discussing financial faithfulness with Mr. Sam Alexander. So Mr. Alexander, before we went to the break, you left us with quite an important quote by Mr. Thoreau. And I think I'd like for us to revisit that and then just unpack and continue to discuss the goal of faithfulness and the goals in terms of how we live faithfully in our lives.
Yes. Busi, for the benefit of our listeners, I'm going to repeat the statement and we're going to do that again. When someone advances deliberately in the direction of his or her dominant dream,
Yes.
and daily lives the life that he or she imagines, that person will meet with a success unexpected in the common hours of life. What does it say? It says that you have to have a dominant dream. Money cannot be the dominant dream.
Okay.
The dream has got to be that which money loves.
Yes.
And so, amazingly, the Word of God is laced with finance,
Yes.
laced with how money operates, how it possesses you, or how you possess it. You know, sometimes we are, we have a whole lot of money,
Yes.
and we deal with it in a particular way that we do. Money is a gift from God. And you know what you must do with money, with finances? You must hold them with a loose grip.
Yes.
In case God wants to take it from
away.
you or give it to somebody else, then it's not a struggle or a tussle between you and God. Because money is a gift from God. So I believe that when God blesses us with money and with the gifts, there is a very important thing. It is, what are you going to do with that money? Now let's go to Matthew 25.
Yes.
Let's look at when the king comes in all his glory,
Yes.
and he's surrounded with the angels with him. And he will sit on his throne of glory, and he will gather us as a shepherd divides sheep from goats. And he will say, I was hungry, and you fed me. Well, that's money. I was naked, and you clothed me. That's money.
Yes.
I was sick, and you took off time, and you brought me something to eat, and you visited me.
Yes,
That's money.
that's money.
I was in prison, and you came unto me, not empty-handed. That's money. God expects us to use our money and to use it others-wise.
Yes, others-wise.
Others-wise.
Yes.
Because many times we can surround ourselves with what we have, and we forget that God has placed us here, and He's placed others in our sphere of influence to grow the money. Giving it away grows it. Listen to the statement. He is no fool who gives what he cannot keep to gain what he cannot lose. No fool.
We've touched on quite significant topics and I think items now. And I'm called to just think, then what is the result of living my life financially faithfully? I can see that there would be great fruit that would be born from me, as you say, giving my money away, from me being faithful to God and being faithful in all aspects of my life, not just in my finances, so that my money can grow or that my access to money can grow. How is it then that, what are the other results? Are there any further results of living faithfully financially?
There are awesome results, and we have to touch on that. I think we're probably coming to the end, and this is a very important thing to touch. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse. And then God speaks about, you've robbed me. What have you robbed me with? In tithes and offerings.
Yes.
So remember, when we bring our money to God, that's a wonderful way of reaching others through our giving. Our giving of our tithe is an act of obedience. Giving of our offering is an act of worship.
Yes.
So when I use my money to bring into the fold, into the household of faith, that's the best place to bring my money, because that's the place where God distributes kindness and reaches many people that otherwise I can't reach.
I think we've spoken also a little bit about the positive sides of being financially faithful. We live in a world where anything can happen at any moment. Terrorism attacks are a reality. Governments are changing, policies are changing, taxes are rising, cost of living is rising. What happens if I am financially faithful, but life happens and I lose my values? What about the safety? Is there safety in my being financially faithful?
Yes, there is. Remember, a good old sage in the Word of God says, and you know the story around him? He said, the Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Now that man had, I mean, if there was anybody who had, he had. But you know, when it was taken away from him, it hurts.
Yes.
It hurts.
Yes.
But he understood that God gave. And when God gives, He gives liberally. Remember how He gives? Remember how He gives? Good measure.
Yes.
Pressed together.
Down,
shaken down. And running over.
Yes.
That's how God gives. So when He takes it away, it's His plan. It's His idea. Why? Because I know the plans I have for you. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Then there is another beautiful text in Ephesians 3 verse 20, which says, now unto Him who is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we do and ask.
Yes.
He gives as He wills and He takes as He wills. You know, that's You know, then of course our prime example, the man who walked this planet, the man who gave up the splendor of heaven. He comes down and he gives of himself. You know what? I saw a beautiful caption where Christ sits at the seaside,
Yes.
and he looks out at the sea, and the caption is, homeless, yet master of heavens and earth and sea and sky. He knew how to give. And that is what God expects. You know, when I give according to what he wants. I give according to the means I have. Listen to the widow. The widow gave all she had. And you know, I said recently at a place where we spoke about it, all is a very important thing. When you speak about stewardship, your money goes with a whole lot of a surround that is defined as all. It's your health, gave all he had. It's your money, gave all he had. It's your influence, gave all he had. It's your time, gave all he had. So when you put money into the receptacle, just remember, it's all. It's all.
What should our motivation be then? I think you have really, you've really started to deal with this. When we have been financially faithful and things haven't worked out and we continue to give of our all and maybe things are continuing to not work for us, how do we remain faithful? How do we then start storing up our treasures in heaven
Let me give you a little rewind on that.
Yes.
And then we talk about that. I would like to say that struggle and many times poverty and destitution is often self-inflicted.
Okay.
So remember, when God takes away, or when life takes away, it could be because of the way in which I respond to God's call.
Okay.
Okay? So many people do not believe in returning a faithful tithe. And they declare themselves unworthy of the gracious gifts of God. But when you want to advance further in life, you remain faithful to God in every area of your life. So in your offering, you also remain faithful. It is there where God maximizes whatever you bring into his household.
Okay.
So I would like to advocate to our listeners that you can deal with the challenges of life by remembering one thing. You could be on the boat, and the tempest can be running wildly around you.
Yes.
And the water can be pouring in.
Yes.
And death or destruction could be imminent.
Yes.
But whatever you do in your faithfulness, remember it's important that he, Christ, must be in your boat. That's what I believe augurs for success.
I think we've dealt with a lot of issues today, and I think we've touched on a lot of key aspects around financial faithfulness. I don't believe it's easy to take away from the little that you have if you don't have, and I think that's where faithfulness comes in, where God makes his promises to us that if we are faithful to him through our offerings and our tithes, and we show our commitment to him, he will always reward us exceedingly and abundantly, and always for our good. And always knowing that even when things don't go right, he's always working for our good and for us to prosper and to do well. Yeah. Do you have any final words with respect to our financial faithfulness?
I'd like us to remain faithful to God as best as we can be. Remember, there's a great statement by a great lady. It goes this way. Those who make God first and last and best are the happiest people on the earth.
Okay.
Little girl got a Sunday school card. And on the Sunday school card was written, faith in God. And they got into the car and drove from church. And she looked at the card, and as Daddy drove The card blew out of the window. And she said, "Daddy, stop. There goes my faith in God." We've got to be careful that when the winds of life blow hard, it's not our faith in God that goes.
Yes.
That must be the last to remain.
Thank you, Mr. Alexander. I think there's a lot that we've learned today. I think that there's a lot that we need to cover. I think there's a lot that we need to think about in terms of how it is that we remain faithful to God. We're required to remain stewards at the worst of times. Our goals should not just be about money. Our goals should not just be about how much we can have in this earth and in this time. That can all be taken away if we remember the story of Job. So we need to remain faithful to God at all times, at the best and at the worst, and remain faithful with our tithes, remain faithful with our commitment that we've made to Him, because He's made the same commitment to us. We thank you, Mr. Alexander, for your time again today. We thank you for the words that you've given to us, and we thank you for the encouragement that you've given to us. May each of us remain faithful. May we remain worthy of the blessings that God gives to us, and may we remain steadfast in all that we do. Till next time.